For these former Liard First Nation language workers, language is life and the very essence of who they are as Kaska people. The department, located in Upper Liard near the community of Watson Lake, made big strides when it came to language preservation. That included working with elders to build fluency, developing a Kaska language app, and creating a multitude of language resources.
That was like one of the beautiful things that we had, is just to like uphold people that are learning their language. All that's just been taken away from us.
But now, these former employees say Liard's language department building is sitting empty. According to them, all of the department's employees were either fired, laid off, or forced to resign, and they feel Chief Stephen Charlie is to blame.
It's very emotional because like the amount of work that we did for our language and for just advocating for language to be everywhere.
Last fall, the language department's director received a letter from Chief and Council stating her position would be dissolved. The department's employees spoke out against that decision, arguing the director's leadership was invaluable and that her dismissal would pose a serious threat to their language work. At the same time, 5 other council members released a letter accusing Chief Charlie of unilateral decision-making, including decisions about the dismissal and termination of staff without their consent.
They're just allegations. I don't have no reason to defend myself. I've done nothing wrong.
Charlie said in an interview with APTN News last fall that the allegations against him were baseless. The issue came to a head in December 2024 when employees Emerald Pope and Diana Lee Jimmy were fired for speaking out to the media about their concerns with Charlie's leadership.
There have been a lot of struggles with our current leadership.
It's just like really heartbreaking to feel that this is how we're being treated.
Caesar says he was the last employee to leave the department in mid-January. He alleges the First Nations HR department blocked his email, changed the locks on the language building, and took away his accrued sick leave and vacation time.
Just feeling like isolated from chief and council and being like the only person left, I did not have any choice but to resign.
We could be focusing all our time and energy on becoming fluent, and instead we're being distracted by these politics.
The issue surrounding the language department isn't sitting right with this elder.
It's heartbreaking because our language is the most important thing to being a First Nation individual.
She feels leadership isn't taking the issue seriously.
I hope there's changes in leadership, because with this present leadership, we're not going anywhere.
The former workers also claimed the department received nearly $600,000 in funding for the 2024 fiscal year, but were later told by HR that that money had been spent elsewhere. The loss of that funding is a big issue for Liard's deputy chief, who has been vocal in his opposition to Charlie's leadership.
When we asked where did they spend it, they said we don't know. So again, this is very, very concerning.
The language department is just one area of concern when it comes to Liard's finances. In January, the First Nation held a financial meeting for membership where it was revealed it had failed to file 103 financial reports and 6 years' worth of audits between 2019 to 2024. As a result, the federal government threatened to turn off Liard's funding unless it filed its delinquent reports and audits. Schilling says he learned of the band's financial situation at the meeting along with membership. He's accusing Chief Charlie of keeping the band in the dark about its own finances. He alleges Charlie refused to share Liard's financial information with other members of council up until the January meeting, and he hasn't shared any information since.
It's a closed door with our own nation's finances. And again, these are things that you shouldn't be, as an elected official for the First Nation, be finding out at a meeting.
For months, most of Charlie's fellow council members have raised concerns about his leadership, accusing him of unilateral decision-making, unethical behavior, and workplace bullying. Schilling feels his people can't move forward with Charlie at the helm.
It makes it really hard when you have one person who's supposed to be on the team that just refuses to work with you.
We reached out to Chief Charlie to get his side of the story. He said in an email to APTN National News that the allegations are nothing new. He had already spoken to APTN about the matter previously, and he had no further comment to add. And he has made statements in the past that he is committed to financial transparency. That includes appointing an accounting firm to help Liard get its finances back on track. The firm said at the January meeting that the federal government enabled the situation with Liard's finances. For instance, it entered into a funding agreement with the First Nation despite knowing it hadn't submitted audits 2 years prior. But Schilling believes there's no excuse.
Right? Money comes in, money goes out. You have to report on it.
Schilling claims the issues don't stop there. He alleges Chief Charlie also refuses to work with other members of council to hold a general assembly, with only one being held in the nearly 5 years he's been chief.
Not communicating with your elected officials it just doesn't work in 2025.
At the end of the day, Schilling simply wants all of council to be able to work together.
My community, my office is not perfect, but we definitely strive to try. And I think if LFN, Liard First Nation, and the leadership that's elected in there could at least start trying, it would be a good start.
I reached out to Crown Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs Canada and Indigenous Services Canada about Liard's finances. A spokesperson said the federal government has no role in how governance disputes are resolved, though they did confirm Liard's financial reporting is not current. They also said they recognize First Nations have varying degrees of administrative capacity and that current reporting requirements can be burdensome for some funding recipients. As for Liard's former language workers, they say they quickly found new employment with the Yukon Native Language Center. They're continuing their work at an office space provided by the Deludena Council, a sub-council of the Liard First Nation located in the nearby community of Lower Post.
I know for a fact that we are dedicated and it's going to continue going, and that we're open to working and sharing always.
Despite everything that's happened, they say it hasn't changed the trajectory of their work and helping the Kaska language survive. Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Whitehorse.